Hello and welcome to this guide to Virgin Atlantic Flying Club, the beginner's level. Frequent flyer schemes are confusing, in part because they're designed that way, and Virgin Atlantic Flying Club is no different. In this series of videos, I'm going to help you demystify the Virgin Flying Club, distill what you need to know so you can tell the difference between things like a Virgin point and a tier point, and finally help you get the best use of your Virgin points in the Flying Club. Join me as we hop aboard this journey of discovery and learning about the Virgin Atlantic Flying Club. At its core, in the Virgin Atlantic Flying Club, you earn two types of points: Virgin points and tier points. Virgin points are the currency of Virgin Atlantic and the Virgin Group in the US and the UK. Primarily, you can earn and spend your Virgin points through Virgin Atlantic, but also through a network of other partners through the Virgin Red scheme. Virgin Red is a linked but separate scheme and app where you can collect and earn Virgin points and then spend them on a number of Virgin Group related items and some non-Virgin Group related stuff. And it's worth noting that actually a lot of people earn more Virgin points outside of Virgin Atlantic than inside. However, that's a whole other being, so I'll be covering that in a separate video. One key thing you need to know is that Virgin points have a rolling 36-month expiry. For example, let's say you earn one Virgin point on the 10th of January 2025. That then will expire by the 10th of January 2028, unless you have activity between them two dates. So let's say you earned another 10 Virgin points on the 10th of October 2025. It extends that lifetime of all the points balance another 3 years. So in effect, even if you did a really small Virgin points transaction, they're always going to be valid. So you don't really need to worry about that like other frequent flyer schemes. So let's do some maths here. When it comes to Virgin Atlantic specifically, let's say you have a flight from London Heathrow to JFK in New York, which is one of their most popular routes, about 3,500 miles. In economy, you have a fare multiplier of 25%. So approximately 3,500 times 0.25 gets you to 875 Virgin points in the cheapest economy fare class. In the most expensive upper class, it's 500%. So what you'd be doing for that is 3,400 times 5, which is about 17,000 points. This isn't exact, but it will vary. And Virgin do actually have a very handy calculator on their website, because the actual number of miles flown, which you find on Google, might be different to what is actually flown on that flight. So they always stay up to a certain amount rather than saying this is exactly what you're going to get. Tier points are Flying Club specific and can only be earned and not spent. And if you're familiar with the world of British Airways and the Executive Club, they are very similar, albeit not exactly the same. And the whole point of tier points is that they're purely to help you get to the next status level in the Virgin Atlantic Flying Club. The way these works are slightly different to Virgin points. You earn them on a flat rate based on the booking class your ticket is in, regardless of the distance of the flight. Example, the cheapest economy T class fare earns you 25 tier points, while the most expensive upper class fare nets you 200 tier points. This is very different to BA, where you have a variation depending on distance, or bands as they call them in BA, mostly because all of Virgin Atlantic routes are mid to long haul, whereas British Airways have variation in it. They have their short haul European routes and their mid to long haul routes across the globe. And uniquely for Virgin Atlantic Flying Club, you can earn tier points on award flights. These are 25 for economy, 50 for premium, and 100 for upper class. That's really good because, you know, perhaps you've got a load of Virgin points and you want to spend them and you're almost at level for status. So perhaps you can earn a few tier points through doing that. Tier points have a hard 12-month expiry, and it's quite complex, and I'll explain a little later exactly how that works. So what do tier points actually get you? Everyone starts on the red tier with Virgin Atlantic after sign up, and all this allows you to do is earn Virgin points and tier points, and then also spend those Virgin points on Virgin Atlantic and their partners in the SkyTeam Alliance and their non-SkyTeam partners. Really, this doesn't net you much. It's pretty much just like signing up to a Nectar account or a Club Card account, where you get some small benefits, but not really much in return. Silver tier is where some negligible benefits crop up. So firstly, You achieve this once you hit 400 tier points, which is not that difficult considering that you might be able to earn this on a couple of return trips in business class, especially if you're traveling on business travel. The first one is that you get an extra status bonus for every Virgin point you earn on Virgin Atlantic flights, up to 30% on the silver tier. Second is that you get a 1 extra checked bag, which might be useful. And next is premium check-in, which personally, it's not always useful, but sometimes if there is a very long queue in the economy class queue, it can be quite handy to have. Then you also get 7-day advanced seat selection in economy class for free, which is key because you actually have to pay for reservations on Virgin. This is very similar to what BA offer in their bronze tier, for those who may be familiar with that. And you do get recognition for silver status across the SkyTeam Alliance in the form of elite status for SkyTeam recognition. However, gold tier is the most lucrative. For this, you get some of the benefits of silver tier and a little bit more. So instead of 30%, you get 60% bonus Virgin points on Virgin Atlantic flights. You get Virgin Atlantic Clubhouse access for you and a guest when flying in economy class or premium on Virgin Atlantic flights. When you go for renewal of your gold status, upon renewal you get a 2-for-1 voucher to spend on Virgin Atlantic flights for you and a guest. And then you also get status with SkyTeam Elite Plus, primarily international lounge access when on an international ticket. This could be on any of the SkyTeam partners across the globe, and you get benefits on a number of non-SkyTeam partners too, which Virgin Atlantic have hooked up with. These are the primary tiers. However, there's two sort of extra tiers which are not actually marketed. The first is the Wings program, which is sort of a supplement to gold status, and it's only available for the top 250 members of the Virgin Atlantic Flying Club. In my opinion, it seems a bit meager. You get a couple of clubhouse guest passes which you can give to your friends and family, a few extra benefits such as any Virgin Atlantic ticket being refundable regardless of the actual fare conditions, and personal account management, and best of all, a pin badge to tell everyone you're a member of this elite Wings Club. Seems a bit meager to me, apart from that refundable ticket one. However, the truly top tier secret level is unique, which is very similar to BA's unpublished Premier service. There's very little information online about this apart from one article I have found, and I will leave a link down below. This gets the perks of Flying Club Gold, however you only need to have a minimum of 100 tier points per year. The crux of it being that you actually need to be considered a VIP, such as a celebrity, a super important person, a politician, this kind of thing, which Virgin award their discretion, or most likely high decision makers, big spenders from corporates who they want to reward for their loyalty to Virgin Atlantic. So you get dedicated customer service as part of this, obviously all the gold benefits, more intricate and more attentive service across the board, and they can even arrange things such as the Windsor Suite access at Heathrow, which is an ultra private terminal experience for people to use when at Heathrow, and it's completely separate to the main terminal fee. You do get, when you're awarded this, a special box of personalised headphones. However, very little else is known about it, and I do think if you have unique status or you think you might get it, you're probably not watching this video, but I thought it was interesting to include it. So one thing that took a while to get my head around was how do tier points actually accumulate. So tier points have a 12-month expiry with no option to extend. However, you don't have a tier point year like British Airways does. Let's do an example. You take your first Virgin Atlantic flight on the 8th of February 2025 and you earn 25 tier points. Your tier point year, or what Virgin Atlantic called the fixed membership period, is valid until the 7th of February 2026. Let's call this tier point year 1. If you earned the remaining 375 tier points for silver by the 15th of October 2025, you would have silver status until the 7th of February 2027, the end of tier point year 2. If you then earned the remaining 600 tier points for gold by the 6th of January 2026, your gold status would be valid until the 7th of February 2027. Now, these flight dates are all random. You could pick and choose your own ones, but the main point is that first date that you take your first flight is when your tier point year begins. You would then need to seek your gold renewal by the 7th of February 2027 or drop down to silver for tier point year 3. Bit confusing, and it took me about an hour to get my head around this yesterday by doing some examples to really understand how this system works. However, you don't need to just be flying Virgin Atlantic to earn Virgin points and tier points. They have a whole raft of partners across the globe which are actually really handy to have. I split these partners into 3 categories: for that, earn and burn, and then just earn only. Bearing in mind, these are just my categories, so don't go Googling that. First, let's start with the full fat partners. And why do I call it full fat? Well, you get the option to earn and burn or redeem Virgin points for flights. You earn tier points on your flights that you take with those airlines, and you get some recognition of your Virgin Atlantic status with them. These include all 19 SkyTeam members, including SAS Scandinavian Airlines, Delta, Air France and KLM. You also have El Al in Israel, Singapore Airlines, Virgin Australia and Air New Zealand, but only when you book that ticket via Virgin Atlantic with a Virgin Atlantic flight code. Benefits vary from partner to partner, and it does get quite confusing, so I've done a whole table which you'll see just about now to compare what you get across each airline, and I'd recommend you pause it if you actually want to find out what benefits you get on which airline and where. Next to earn and spend partners, often known in American circles as earn and burn. You don't get recognition for your gold status with these partners, however you do get the ability to earn Virgin points and tier points with these partners, and spend them of course. These include ANA or Nippon Airways of Japan, Hawaiian Airlines, LATAM of South America and South African Airways. For both full fat and earn and burn partners, you can earn these tier points, which are usually awarded based on a flat rate for over and under 2,000 miles and for each ticketing class, while Virgin points are awarded based on a distance multiplier. If we take Singapore Airlines as an example, for a flight from Singapore to Hong Kong in first class, you would net 125 tier points. As the distance from Singapore to Hong Kong is 1,588 miles, these would be awarded at around 2,382 Virgin points, because the class multiplier for Singapore Airlines is 150%. And it's worth noting you don't get any Virgin points bonus if you're silver or gold on these partners. That's exclusive to Virgin Atlantic only. And the final part, as I mentioned, was earn only, and it's the solitary Indigo Airlines of India. A few caveats with this: you only earn these on code shares with a Virgin connection. So let's say you take a flight from London to Mumbai and then Mumbai to Goa on Indigo, that would have to be on one ticket to earn that, and you earn a flat rate of 700 Virgin points and 10 tier points. As it goes without saying, you can only earn these on these connecting itineraries, so an independent point-to-point Indigo flight, you cannot earn any miles or points with this. That is a lot of information for one video. So I've got a few more videos upcoming about this very topic, things such as sweet spots for Virgin Atlantic and getting the best value for your Virgin points and how you can book them, because Virgin's IT is not quite up to scratch. The best ways to earn Virgin points that aren't necessarily from flying. How the recent changes to Virgin Flying Club aren't actually a big deal, but why the changes may become worse over time. And whether the Virgin Atlantic credit card voucher is actually any good for flyers from the UK. If you want to learn this and more, be sure to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell to find out what I discuss in those coming videos. Like this video, comment down below if you have any initial questions based on this video. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time where I discuss a bit more about Virgin Atlantic Flying Club. Bye bye.